Hello, Odo. I'm happy to talk to you, but it feels a bit weird because last time I did it with you, it was maybe 2022 for Worlds, and also with Excel. So since then, what happened to you?
Ooh, it's been a long time. Yeah. A lot of things have happened. Yeah, with Excel, rebranding with GX. Didn't have the best splits afterwards. Then I left GX, and then I guess I didn't really find any good projects or like any projects at all when it came to playing further for 2025. I guess. Yeah, I guess it was 2025 for this year. And yeah, it's been a long ride. I found myself in the position where I had to start from scratch, and I was trying to stay visible as much as I can, because I feel like in esports, or especially in league, if you don't stay visible, people forget about you quite easily. So I had the opportunity to join the analyst desk, and it's been great for me. Was difficult at first. Also had the opportunity to help out with Los Ratones for their winter EU Masters run. Cadel asked me to help out a little bit because he was struggling, given it was his first time as a player. And then we did a good job there. We won EU Masters, and then I went on board full time with Los Ratones as well, where we won NLC all those times, EU Masters. Now we're prepping for EU Masters Summer as well. And yeah, I'm here in Madrid now doing the analyst desk for LEC finals. So it feels great. It's been a journey. It wasn't easy. It was really, really hard for me to adapt to my new role, but a challenge is always great.
Is it 100% over? Because in the past we already saw like some player taking like some break or even like retired, and then they come back as a players. So I know that might not be the case for you, but what can you tell me about that?
It's not over. I don't think it's over, but at the same time, I need to be very, very aware of the fact that I feel like I'm at the age where everything's against me. People are gonna hinge that against me very hard. Question my motivation, question my dedication to the game, question my skill level and everything. I feel like for me, age isn't really a problem. I feel like every time I decide to do something, reach top 10 solo queue, maybe get like, 2-3 accounts in top 50 solo queue, I do that. I did that last off season. It didn't really help me at all. So for now, I'm at the point where I do what is needed for me to be the best I can possibly be at my new role, which is, analyst desk and coaching with Los Ratones. So I find myself in the position where I don't play as much league, but the moment, I get free time, I play a lot of league, and I get back to like, being top 50 or top 30 or top 10 on the ladder. So I don't know what the future holds. I feel like I'm not in a position where I feel like it's out of my hands, in the sense where anything I can do in terms of my individual performance, it's going to get brushed aside, because, I've been around for a really long time. People already have, their pre-made opinions about me, and people are always going to remember my competitive games over, my actual skill level when it comes to the LEC or how I would play in competitive games. So I feel like we're going the times where, the unks are getting pushed out, and there's, a lot of young blood coming into the LEC, and, it might be the end of the cycle, and it seems incredibly hard to fight against that end of the cycle, So I wouldn't want it to be over, but it might be.
Because what kind of emotion do you feel when you are here in Madrid for the finals? So of course there is like teams competing for their world spot. So you as a former player and as a not yet totally retired, like what kind of emotion do you feel?
Ooh, I'm still at the point where I'm envious and jealous, sometimes angry, I guess. I had this as well last year in Munich, when I was like, benched from GX, and then I did Munich finals. When I see someone else lift the trophy, I get angry, because I wanted to be me, because I know that I'm still really, really good, and I still feel like I can do it. But at the same time, I can't really, let those emotions show so much. I am, celebrating the competition. I love the fact that, the competition is so big and someone gets to lift the trophy. and they get to live those emotions that I wish I would live, you know, and I'm happy for them. Like, I'm really happy. And also from, like, you know, my role on the broadcast is to celebrate that moment. So even though I might, you know, the personal side of me might feel those things, the professional side of me feels happy and celebrates the moment, you know, to the max, because it's good for the scene, right? The more hype I can bring, the more passion I can put in the broadcast, the better, you know, the scene is overall, the more people are invested in League of Legends, you know. And at the same time, I did everything I ever did was for the European scene and for the LEC. So it's, yeah, I just put my personal feelings aside and I do what needs to be done.
And it might be unfair to ask you that, but what about proving yourself in ERLs or in lower tier league? Because of course, like, we are here in LEC, and because what you achieve, I guess you want to play like in tier 1. But if someone approached you to play, like, could be like a streamer project like Los Ratones, or like a competitive project like in LFL or in Prime League, would you do it?
Well, the thing is, I need to be pragmatic a little bit and think about my future. And given that I'm, you know, an extremely competitive person and everything I do is to be the best in the world in my role, I feel like I'm at the age, I'm 30 right now, I'll be 31 next year. So let's say I will be going into this ERL project. Would this project, like, you know, I'm going to be a little bit arrogant, but I would probably, you know, like, stomp those kids in there, and I would just probably, like, you know, maybe my team wouldn't win the U Masters, but I know that I would beat the life out of, you know, every single person I would play against. But at the same time, I don't feel like that would bring me closer to the LEC. And also at the same time, when I think about myself for the next 5 years or so, I would rather maybe get a kickstart at, you know, becoming the best I can be at a caster, or, you know, at analyst desk, or becoming the best I can be in a coaching position, so that, you know, I get closer to maybe, like, you know, my dream, or, like, you know, my goals of, you know, becoming the best of the best. And I feel like my time is rather spent better there. And to also go back to your previous questions, it's not that, you know, they kind of go against each other, where I feel like I would play, but at the same time, I do feel like if I would get one of those, you know, last dance kind of opportunities with, like, a team, I would, you know, maximize the life out of it.
And Odo, are you happy about your new routine as a caster, as a coach, or do you miss somehow your life as a pro player?
So I'm adapting to it, but I think I would be lying if I would say that I don't miss it a lot, you know, because all I did ever since I was a kid was compete, and the fact that now I don't get to compete is a very weird feeling that I kind of hate. I hate not being able to compete, but at the same time, I need to get my happiness and my satisfaction just by being around this environment, and that's difficult, because I need to change a little bit my values, I guess, and just accept that, you know, that feeling of me competing might never come back ever again.
And is there anything, like anything that you still want to achieve as a pro player? Because of course you won LEC, you play at Worlds, but is there still something that you really want to do before the end?
The thing is, I wouldn't really say that I have a milestone where I was like, oh, I would love to have won this award. Maybe I would have loved to be MVP of the split at some point, or like you know, the finals or whatever, but that doesn't really matter. Even if I would play and I would go like, you know, 10th, if you did say, okay, you can play in the LEC for the next 3 years, but your team is going to go 10th every single split, I would still do it, because it's just competing, you know. Competing is what I always loved. You know, winning or getting accolades was always a bonus, you know. But I did everything I did for the love of the game, for the love of the region, for the love of the LEC. And I mean, everyone says, like, you know, you want to win Worlds, but at the same time, everyone knows me is like, if I didn't work well enough or hard enough, then I didn't really deserve it, you know. So I'm not really the kind of guy who says, oh, I wish I would have won Worlds, because obviously I do, but at the same time, there's the proof from before that I didn't really need to, you know, or like I didn't really do it. So I don't really think I missed everything. It's just one more year of competing, you know. I already had 10 years of competing, and it's nice to get it that number as high as possible.
And when you look back at your careers, like, do you have some regret about maybe being more present on social network, like maybe to prepare like the afterlife of a pro?
Yeah, I have regrets in the sense where I feel like I didn't really value or figure out at the time the value or the impact that social media or that your brand can have as a player, because I feel like there's a lot of icons in the LEC or that made it through, like Janko, even Kadril started at some point after his career. I feel like I was kind of stuck in this childish mindset where I thought that, you just need to focus on playing well and everything will come naturally, or it doesn't really go like that, because I figured at some point that it's more so entertainment through sports rather than, sports in that sense. So I felt like I could have, managed things better than have a little bit more showmanship at the beginning of my career, because I felt like given my trajectory over the last 10 years, I had a lot of opportunities, I think, to become bigger than I am. But that doesn't really mean that I regret who I am right now. I feel like I am really happy with my status right now, with the impact I had on, the league overall, the feelings I gave to the fans over the years and everything. So I wouldn't really change anything. It's just that's maybe something that I would have done to have a bigger impact on, the people who enjoy watching the LEC.
And do you wish to, I don't know, like thanks or highlight someone who helped you like doing the transition from player to caster or to talent, like from a game, for like former players, from a teammate?
There were a lot of people who, gave me, tips over the years. There's been like, guys like Repo, I guess, when it comes to, having a big brand. Kadril helped me as well with, analyst desk or caster life in that sense. The guys at Riot, the guys who, we, like my co-workers, I guess, like when it comes to Dracos or the casters or everyone else from analyst desk, everyone's been super friendly and stuff. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you got to do it yourself, I feel like there's not really a huge, established support staff that is going to spoon feed you, all of these things. You need to do this, you need to do that, and all of this. I feel like it's one of those things where the more involved you are and the more people see you involved, the more they're willing or like, feel like they want to help you. It's no one's gonna, you don't walk into a structure where it's like, okay, we're gonna teach you all of these things. It's just like, it comes from your own personal grind, and if people see you grind, they're motivated to, help you get better.
Okay, then thank you so much for that. It was pretty precious time for me.
Thank you.